In this video, I'm going to do an unboxing of a 5th generation iPod Touch. So let's get to it. Now, not so long ago, I bought myself a 4th generation iPod Touch. And I did that because I really don't have any iOS devices, and I wanted to keep up on the platform. Unfortunately, that generation of iPod Touch no longer has the latest version of iOS on it. Plus, it was getting incredibly slow. So I ended up selling that on eBay for almost as much as I bought it for. And I picked up this, which is a refurbished 32 gigabyte blue iPod Touch. Again, 5th generation, so it's the latest generation of the iPod Touch. And I'll be able to use iOS 7 on it, and it has the good camera, which I'm actually going to be using to take pictures for my eBay items that I sell. And I'll be using the device as a remote control for some of my devices throughout the house. Now, there's no way I'd spend $300 on this device, which is what it retails for normally. This is, again, a refurbished item, and I got it for $219. I think it was $219 shipped. And that's a reasonable price for what you get here. But I just can't see myself spending $300 on something I'm really not going to use a whole lot. So anyway, let me grab my trusty cutter here, and let's get this box open here. There we go. iPod. Pretty simple. If you saw my unboxing of the 4th generation device, it came in a very similar box. So let's get the plastic off of here. My very dull cutter. And here we go. Now, this comes in a lot of different colors, and I decided to go with the blue because Apple is very monochrome up until lately. You either get a black device or a silver device. And that, to me, that's kind of boring, so I wanted to get something that had a little more flavor, a little more color to it. So in here we have, let's see what we have in the accessory bag. We have the USB to Lightning port here, which will be new for me. And iPod Touch instructions. And we have the new earbuds here. The EarPods, I think they're called. And then you have the lanyard. Now this is an interesting little addition to the iPod Touch. And one of the reasons I didn't go with the 16 gigabyte version, because I could have gotten the 16 gigabyte version for I think $189, a refurbished one. But the two reasons I didn't was because I wanted to try out this lanyard. I thought it was cool. But most importantly, that version doesn't have a rear-facing camera, and that's, again, one of the reasons I bought this, because I sold my Samsung Galaxy Note 8, and I used that to take a lot of photos with, not outside of the house, but around the house. And I had to replace it. And of course, iPhone cameras, which, you know, this is an iPod, but it has an iPhone camera in there, are, you know, top of the line as far as mobile devices are concerned. So let's get this out of the plastic here. Slide it out. There we go. So let's get the plastic off of here and slide this out. So alright, it looks like the device is already on, and I've never done a startup on iOS 7 before, and some of you out there probably already have, but I'm actually going to go and walk through it. But let me just take a quick tour of the device. You have, of course, your iconic Apple branding there, iPod, FCC information. You have an area here for your Wi-Fi antennas to not bounce back in the aluminum here. It will clearly go. I think that's plastic there. You have the camera back here with the flash, and then it looks like there's also a microphone back here. Now here is that interesting little piece for the lanyards. You just press it in, it comes out ever so slightly, and then Let's put this down so it doesn't scratch. And the lanyard, it feels like rubber on one end and then like a microfiber on the other end. And actually says here, designed by Apple in California, assembled in China. And this part is sort of a rubbery plastic. So let's attach that. There we go. Now you have a lanyard, so you're not going to lose your iPod Touch. I don't know how I feel about that lanyard. It's a little weird, but we'll see how it works out for me. All right, on the bottom you have your speaker, you have your lightning port, and then you have your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Again, this is all aluminum, as you would expect from an Apple product. Up top here you have your power button, and it is the anodized aluminum. This pigment is impregnated into the first couple of layers of the aluminum. On this side, on the left side, you have your two volume buttons, your down and up volume button. And then of course on the front you have a white bezel, you have your home button, and then your front facing camera here. Okay, so let's go through the specs on this device before I actually start it up. It is 4.86 inches in height, it's 2.31 inches in width, and it is 0.24 inches in thickness. So it's a small device, and actually not the thickness, but the other dimensions of it are the same size as an iPhone. And I have it in my hand here, and I've been used to Android phones for quite some time now, and it seems very small. I really don't know how people use iPhones on a regular basis because they seem like such small devices. This iPod Touch weighs 3.1 ounces or 88 grams. Again, it's a 32 gigabyte version. You could get it in a 16 gigabyte version and a 64 gigabyte version. It supports 802.11 A, B, G, and N Wi-Fi, both 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. It has Bluetooth 4.0. It has a 4-inch diagonally measured, of course, as all screens are measured. It's a Retina display, and it has 1136 by 640 pixels, which gives you 326 pixels per inch. It has an 800:1 contrast ratio. The rear-facing camera is a 5 megapixel camera with a 5-element lens, and of course that LED flash here. This is going to enable you to actually record 1080p video at 30 frames per second. The front-facing camera is a 1.2 megapixel camera, and you can do 720p video on that at 30 frames per second. Again, the cameras on iPhones or iPod Touches, in this case, are state-of-the-art as far as mobile is concerned. Now, one thing you'll notice, which is becoming a hallmark of Apple devices, is you have that chamfered edge here, as you can see. And if you say chamfered edge, you've probably been listening to Johnny Ive a little bit too much. But there you go. And it looks really nice with this anodized aluminum. Again, I'm a fan of the colors, or at least this color. The yellow is a very not attractive color, and then it comes in pink as well. And then, of course, your characteristic black and silver, and then the special edition red. So let's fire this thing up. It says hello, slide to set up. Very responsive device here. Let's hit English. Obviously, I'm speaking English. I'm in the United States, so let's click on that. Okay, I edited that last section out because I had to sign into my home wireless network. The next selection here is location services. Either enable location services or disable them. And basically it's for maps and whatnot. I'll enable them because I could always change that in the settings if I want. Set up iPod Touch. Set up as a new iPod Touch. Restore from iCloud backup. Restore from iTunes backup. Well, I'm going to restore from an iCloud backup. I really don't know what apps that I do have of any importance on my Apple devices here. Nothing that comes to mind necessarily. I could always re-download them if I need them, but we'll just see what I have on my iCloud. So I'm going to have to sign in with my Apple ID and password, and let me do that, and I'll join you on the other side of that. Okay, I signed in with my Apple ID, and the next selection here is the terms and conditions. I'm going to agree to that, and it's going to set up my iPod Touch here, corresponding to my Apple ID. Let's see what apps it downloads, if any. Alright, so it says no backups available, so I'm just going to set it up as a new iPod Touch, no problem there. So, Apple ID, I already entered that, so I don't know why it's asking for it again. Sign in with your Apple ID, create a free Apple ID. I'm going to sign in again with my Apple ID, and I'll join you on the other side of that. Okay, it's asking for the terms and conditions again, so I'm going to agree to that again. But so far, this device is night and day compared to the 4th generation iPod Touch that I had before. It was so slow, it was painfully slow, and this is very responsive. So iCloud, use iCloud, don't use iCloud. At this point, I really don't need it, so I'm not going to use iCloud. Create a passcode. I could always do that at a later date. I really don't want to put a passcode on here. And I'm going to continue here. Use Siri, don't use Siri. I will use Siri. And diagnostics. I will automatically send because I just always do that. Register with Apple. Register this device to your Apple ID to stay up to date on product information. Sounds fine to me. And here we go. Welcome to iPod. Get started. So there we go. iOS 7. And very bright. And again, night and day responsive compared to what I was used to with that 4th generation. So I believe, like Android, you have the shade you pull down. And whether would like to use your current location, that's fine. And then if you swipe up, I believe, okay, yeah, there you have your quick controls and whatnot. So that is my brand new 5th generation iPod Touch. This isn't a new device by any means, but it's new for me. So if you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. If you like what you see, please subscribe. And as always, if you want to help out my channel, give me a thumbs up, favorite this video, or share this video. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.